My mama always said, Alpha and Omega movies are just like Pringles. You can't review just one. Is that right? I don't know. Alpha and Omega, The Legend of the Sawtooth Cave. Good God, that title's grammar's awful. You don't need to use the word the twice in the same title, guys. But seriously, that's not the biggest problem this movie has. Oh, wait, hold on. I can't even consider this thing a movie. It's a short film. Well, just over a short film. The first movie was 1 hour and 28 minutes long. This one is 45 minutes long. But it came out on DVD and never had a theatrical release, so I suppose it could be worse. Anyway, in regards to the first movie, I personally consider it to be a guilty pleasure of mine. I don't watch it a lot, but I don't think of it as badly as some people. Don't get me wrong, it isn't a good movie, it's still a pretty mediocre movie, but I tend to let it slide. There's enough in it to keep me interested. But this movie? No, I don't like this movie. This movie's bad. And I mean, actually bad. And that's because of what's probably everybody's biggest problem with the series, the pups. I'm just gonna get this out of the way. I can't stand these little brats. First off, they look awful. I know I said I don't mind the design of the wolves in the first one. Well, let me rephrase that. I don't mind the design of the adult wolves. These guys are... ugh, they just look like plastic corgis more than wolf pups. And secondly, just look at this poster. Humphrey and Kate are nowhere on it. And who's the star of the film now? Runt. No, I'm not insulting him, that's actually his name, and his older brother is called Stinky, and his sister's name is Claudette. Why? Why did they name the boys Stinky and Runt? In a universe where wolves have perfectly normal human names, why would they name them this? No human parent would call their child Stinky or Runt. But they did have wolves called Salty and Mooch in the first movie, so... I don't know. The pups do have a bigger problem than just their names and their appearance, but I'll explain that later. So anyway, what's the story? Kate and Humphrey now have 3 pups who now serve as the protagonists of the sequels. In this one, Runt finds a so-called haunted forest, which apparently has a ghost. That's essentially it. I mean, sure, there are other things in this movie, but that's pretty much it. It's a very basic story. The Halloween elements that are supposed to sell this movie and are supposed to be set up, I mean, it tries to set up in the beginning, but it just doesn't work. They're very weak. Not once did I feel worried about these characters or scared of the monster in this movie. The only thing worth mentioning is that we meet this new wolf called Daria, a blind wolf who lives in the forest, but again, I'll talk about her later. So yeah, the problems in this movie are very clear to begin with. Looking at the animation, it's somehow worse than the so-so animation of the first movie. It looks unfinished, and it looks like I'm watching a beta GameCube game rather than a film. And I've already mentioned the designs of the pups, but they're supposed to look cute, but it just comes off as uncanny. Just with their big heads and their big eyes and the short legs and the long bodies, it just doesn't look right to me. Not to mention, they keep copy-pasting the same designs to background characters and giving them different colours. Oh come on, that's just lazy. On a side note, I'm not even going to bother mentioning the music because they just reuse it from the first movie, and a lot of time it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, another reason why this is very lazy. And another issue is with the continuity. Yes, this series actually has continuity in it. Well, broken continuity. Firstly, the pups go to Alpha School, and it's been established in the first film that they're supposed to go there when they're adolescents, and it goes till spring and they're outside their valley when these wolves are still in their valley. They also have an Omega School, which was never established. Rabbit Poo Mountain is treated like an actual place when it was just a throwaway line in the first movie, furthering how stupid this is. And they call this one cave the Sawtooth Cave, because apparently the top of the rocks look like fangs. People who know American geography would know that Sawtooth is in Idaho. Oh wait, no you wouldn't, because it showed you in the first movie. Anyway, as you've probably noticed, my biggest complaint in this is just how lazy this movie is. Nothing feels like it's had any effort put into it. I mean, Tony, Garth's father, has a flashback to when he was young, and he barely looks or sounds any younger.
Okay, Lyle and Link, you twins go check it out.
Because holding your nose while talking always makes you sound a lot younger, right? It's also filled with filler, and it takes a long time to get to the actual plot. I mean, the ghost appears only 3 times, and that was supposed to be one of the selling points, and it barely does anything until right at the end. Most of the film is mainly filled with pointless comic reliefs giving it comedy that's not funny. Such as these stupid Valley Girl porcupines, who don't you dare expect me to explain how the hell they know what Valley Girls are, who are more aggravating than funny, and those bloody pups. I'm sorry, I can't ignore this. This has always gone on my nerves. Many a writer will tell you that child characters are one of the most difficult characters to create. There are far too many pitfalls for these writers to fall into, and these guys probably fell into the worst hole. It's the deepest, and it's one that's the most impossible to get out of and justify. While badly done child characters tend to be really bland, really annoying, really stupid, these guys somehow manage to make the pups all three of these things at once. They never take responsibility for their actions, they always blame their parents when things go wrong, they think they know better than the adults, and the constant mouthing off to their parents.
You could play howl. Oh, you mean like howling every 15 minutes so you can locate us? No. On the hour will do.
What's next? A leash?
Okay, guys, look, your mother is just trying to make sure that you don't, get yourself into a situation.
Yeah, a situation that could be bad. Leads to bad things.
Didn't you two get into a lot of situations?
But I wouldn't say it led to bad things. Well, not in the end, at least.
I can't understand why movies do this. I mean, do they think it's okay to show kids that it's okay for them to be little brats to their parents? Oh wait, I know why. Because corporate pandering. They think children want to see kids being rebels and not listen to their parents because parents don't know anything, even though they're older, have more life experience, and clearly know more than you do. It's possible to make great child characters who obey their parents. But I've already called this movie lazy about 8 times now, so I guess I should just drop it. But the bottom line is, if you have a child character who says stupid stuff like this...
But Winston, great leader. We're the wolves, they're the prey. What do we have to fear?
Stinky, is that mud on your snout, or is it always brown?
Claudette, shut it. As future leader of the pack,
Oh, please.
I'm faster, stronger,
Clumsier.
Claudette, Stinky.
Chances are I am not going to support them. Anyway, enough of my whining. What's actually good in this movie? One thing. Daria. Okay, maybe I'm biased because I'm already in love with a character with that same name from a different show, but aside from that, her character is interesting. Daria is a blind wolf who has exiled from her birth pack and now lives in Shadow Forest, which would make a much more interesting story rather than these pups dealing with some random ghost that doesn't do anything. Not to mention, she has a very nice and appealing design, which makes me wonder why designing the pups was so difficult when they had no problems with making her look nice. Daria doesn't appear until halfway through the story, and it's the only time I actually became interested. I wanted to know more about her. In my opinion, they should drop the whole ghost thing and just make it about her instead, rather than...
Let's welcome Daria. After all, you heard it yourself from the king of the forest.
No, just no. Also, Lily's in this without Garth, sadly, and it's said that she was in the forest herself and she isn't afraid of it. Which is weird, because in the first movie, Lily was a very shy and timid individual, so why would she go to a supposedly haunted forest alone? And why wasn't it shown? Wouldn't her meeting Daria in this so-called haunted forest make a much more interesting story? Oh, I can't believe I have to say this again, but it would have been so much better if it was about Lily. I mean, seriously, take out the ghost, take out the pups. You have this forest which is rumoured to be haunted, and you have Lily, a gentle and kind wolf who is the least likely candidate to go and explore it. They have a plot practically given to them on a silver platter. What's with this series and wasting great opportunities? Think about it. There's a legend in Shadow Forest is haunted, and none of the wolves, even the alphas, ever want to go in it because they're worried they'd be killed. Lily's the last one to expect to go in there, so despite her fears, she does venture in one day to prove the forest isn't haunted, as well as show the others that she is indeed brave, regardless of what they say. But when she goes in, she finds Daria, who poses as the so-called ghost of Shadow Forest because of her pale colour and the fact her eyes glow in the dark for some reason. I mean, just to get another idea of this, look at this scene from Tarzan 2. Yes, it's an awful film, but it'll prove my point. Also, sorry, it looks like it was filmed with a toaster. I couldn't get any better footage. They could have gone in this sort of direction. They could have had it that Daria doesn't want to be found in this forest, knowing she was almost killed by her pack, so she does something similar to that to scare others away, making her seem like a ghost or a monster to keep people away from her. Getting back into the whole horror aspect. Halloween is about atmosphere and scares. It's to make you feel uneasy, uncomfortable. It wants you to get out safely. But this film just doesn't do that. If they went in that direction, it could have had some suspense, but I don't know, it just would have been a lot better. Again, I feel like it would have been a lot better if they did that, but what do I know about making movies? I'm just some 19-year-old loser on the internet making videos with my laptop. Surely I'm far less capable of creating a better story than these guys making multi-million movies, which are total geniuses, right? Anyway, to round this up, this movie just simply isn't good. Again, it could have been, but it just isn't. There isn't much more I can say, really. I just wish these films would stop. I mean, they've embarrassed themselves enough already with these things, so isn't it time to, I don't know, hang up the keys? Oh, wait, we have another one coming out. Also, folks, seriously, can we please stop it with the pun titles? I mean, the Big Furries. What's wrong with calling it the Big Freeze? And a holiday adventure? What is wrong with calling it a holiday adventure? Now, I'm not trying to out Fox you guys or anything. I'm just trying to show you how stupid this is. Did that statement make any sense? I doubt it, and neither do these puns. Anyway, I say just to avoid this movie unless you're a die-hard fan of the Alpha and Omega series. It's not a good film, it's not a good Halloween special, it's just not good. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you again to Guestsheaux for showing this, and a huge thanks to him and Raven for getting my last review back up when it was taken down. You guys are legends. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. Have a good day. Thanks guys. Cheers. And a very happy Halloween to everybody.